let's talk summer. To homeschool, to not homeschool, a little bit of work, a short break, a full summer break. Let's chat. I have been wrestling with these questions. Should we take a full break? Should we take a small break? How should I plan our summer homeschool? So today I'm going to share with you what I decided to do, some of the resources we're going to use, and some of my thought process behind it. So I am going to start this video kind of chatty and explain my thought process. So if you would rather just jump to the resources that we're going to use, then I will leave some timestamps down below so you can jump around and get what you want out of this video. So if you're new here, hi, let me introduce myself. My name is Adrian. I'm a homeschool mom of 3. I have an 8-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 3-year-old this year. And we also have one on the way, which definitely plays into some of my decision making about summer and even the upcoming school year. So here is some of my thoughts. If you missed my little update video, I talked a lot about homeschooling and the first trimester and how that was a big struggle for me. There were definitely some wins in there, but we did not do a lot of book work or even some of the enrichment things that I wanted to get to and that my kids enjoy. So do we continue to just chug along, do some of that book work through the summer since we missed out on so much of that the last couple of months? Or do we just enjoy it because mommy's feeling good, I'm in my second trimester, I'm feeling good, and should we just spend some time together as a family, going outside, doing walks, play dates, all the fun things? I've really wrestled with this thought because I really want to get through some more math, to do some more of the fun subjects that we missed out on. But at the same time, it's summer. It's really hard to keep up with our big garden, with our yard. We just got chickens, so that's another thing that we are learning and keeping up with. Do I want to try and throw bookwork in there too? So here is what I've come up with. This is my thought on how our days will go and some of the things that we're going to be learning. Because even if we aren't full on doing bookwork, learning never stops, which is something that I don't know that I could have told you my first year of homeschooling, but I can now. So my thought is that we are going to drop most of our formal subjects. We dropped a lot of our enrichment studies when I was not feeling well and we were really just struggling in our homeschool space. But we chugged along with some of our math and our phonics. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop our main curriculum for the most part, and we're going to have a morning basket. We're going to have some read alouds as a family. We're also going to focus on nature study. That is something I have been wanting to focus on the last 2 years. I have bought many resources to do that, and I just cannot figure it out. It is not my forte, and I have not fit it into our schedule. So that's my hope, is that's going to be our focus. And then we'll have some bedtime read alouds. I think I said read alouds already. And then my kids will have some independent work during quiet time. So I have lots of resources to share with you on how we're going to do that, and I will kind of tell you what I'm thinking as I go through some of that. So the first thing I'm going to share with you are some printables that I made up, and they're really pretty and fun. I'm actually really excited to start using these. But the first thing I made was this summer reading bingo. So I made a bingo reading sheet for my kids, and I will share all of this stuff down in a blog post down below so that you can get these printables for free and any resources if you're interested in looking at them. So don't forget to check out the links below if you want to see all this stuff. But this is going to be really fun. There's a free space in the middle like normal, and then there's fun things like where to read, like on the swing or in the playhouse or in the car, read to a sibling, read a poem, by the pool with a hat on, at the park, fiction, nonfiction, magazine. So just a bit of everything on here for my kids. I didn't want to pick specific kind of books because I do still have an up-and-coming reader and then I wouldn't say a new reader, but I don't know a word for his reading level. He really enjoys it. He's getting better at it, but I don't think he's at a place where I can list too many specific book requirements, if that makes sense. So they're gonna have a summer reading bingo. They're going to be reading every day. we have an hour-long quiet time, which I plan to continue. That's for the whole family. My 3-year-old naps for the most part. And then my 2 older boys will split up, one in the bedroom, one in the playroom, and they can typically just do whatever they would like that's quiet. Play with their toys, read a book, take a nap if they want to. But I'm gonna change that up a little this summer. We're still gonna have it, but it's going to include this summer bingo. And then I made up a summer reading list. So whatever books they're reading, they can just put the title, the author, and rate it 1 to 5. We've never done anything like this before, and I think that my 8-year-old's really gonna love it. And I'm thinking that by doing it this way, my 7-year-old, who is still not reading very well, will be able to participate because I can read to him to help him with his summer reading bingo. And then I'm gonna have him work on rereading through some of the Bob books and readers that we've worked on together so that he can add to his summer reading list. I want him to feel involved, but I want it to be at his level. I don't want it to be frustrating. I want it to be fun and still fresh and exciting. So fun, shiny printables. And then I made a summer checklist. So this is not an idea that I can claim as my own. I just made a printable to go with the idea. So Abby over at Rooted in Rest actually talked about having a summer checklist for her kids, and I love the way that she explained it. They also do some form of quiet time throughout their day, and she's going to make them a checklist each day and have something like reading, or maybe it's going to be like do a math page, but also things that are fun, like some educational games, or do an art project or work on baking, were some of the examples that she gave. So I loved that we have so many educational resources or just fun things in our home that we don't always get to. So I want to kind of go off of her idea, and I made a checklist. So I'll have room to add some things here, and then I put something good about today. So my idea are things like play with Botley the coding robot. That doesn't get pulled out very often. We have some independent logic games. We do have like some logic books that my 8-year-old really likes, so he could work on those. We have activity books that are just like sticker books, or the sticker by number books. We also have things like painting and all sorts of just different fun activities that we don't always get to because outside is a whole lot more fun, or we're focusing on our book work. So I thought it would be a really fun idea to just have some of these things on there each day. 1 or 2 things, you know, like read. My 8-year-old will still read through the Bible each day in quiet time, and then pick 1 or 2 fun activities. And occasionally that might look like a handwriting page, or a phonics page for my 7-year-old, or some other things, which I'm gonna show you what I have put in their folder so far, and I don't really plan on adding to it much. My 8-year-old, I gave my 8-year-old the option between doing this research journal by intentional homeschooling. I thought that this would be really fun. You just pick a topic that you want to learn about. It gives you a place to jot down some ideas of things that you want to learn about, and then you get to pick a topic. So you'll pick a topic, why this interests me, what I already know, questions I have, and then you just list your resources. And you just read about it, or get some library books, or watch some videos, jot down what you learn. I mean, nothing real fancy. We're not writing an essay or doing anything elaborate, just learning about something that you want to learn about or are curious about. And then it has a recap, something that surprised me, questions I had, do I want to learn more about this, yes or no? And so I gave him the option of doing this, picking something he wants to learn about with no suggestions from mom, or doing the survival unit study from the Waldock Way. And he picked this one. We tried to do this last year. Each summer I try to do some kind of unit study or family learning about something. And this is what I tried to do last year, and my kids just were not interested. They kind of liked the book, but they really did not want to sit still for any kind of activity or workbook, and I just let it go. I didn't want to fight them on doing something that was supposed to be enjoyable for all of us. But I broke this back out as an option for my 8-year-old to do independently. He has been reading through the Bear Grylls Adventure books, which is what these are based on. and really enjoying them. So I thought that he would enjoy going through some of these activities on his own, watching the videos. They have QR codes in here. They have for videos, and then just some simple activities like tips I learned for surviving in a blizzard. And then you read some of the book, and then you go through this survival handbook, and it's just got little snippets of information. And I already have like a knot tying kit and several other things that go with this, and I thought it'd be fun to go to the library and pick up some extra books for him just to put in front of him if he wants to. So he wants to do this. So my 8-year-old will be reading, doing his Bible journal, doing this unit study a couple days a week, and then, that's in the wrong pile. And then in this little folder, I just printed out this little math workbook from Creative Fabrica. And it's just got some little fun math pages in here. Even just, I gave him some simple ones that weren't gonna be really challenging. I thought it might be fun just to do something easy. And then also some that are a little bigger. And so he might have to do like 1 page of this for as one of his activities. But that's all I have for his independent stuff is, you know, he'll have his little summer sheets that I'll stick in his folder and his unit study and to be reading. So moving on to my 7-year-old, it is much lighter for my 7-year-old. He is not an independent learner yet. And like I said, I want this to be something they can do in quiet time on their own. So for my 7-year-old, again, I just went on Creative Fabrica, which if you've never heard of it, is amazing. They have a teacher club card. You pay $2.99 for an entire year, and you get to download, I believe it's 5 free printables each week. So tons of free educational printables for just not free, but $3 for the whole year. So I just printed out some of these missing number worksheets. So there's the easiest one and the hardest one, and he might have to do those occasionally. And then on top of that, we are still working on reading, and I don't want to completely lose momentum with him. We are going to be going through this elementary phonics book, and I just printed this out. You can find this on Under the Home. And like I said, I'll link it down below in my blog post for you. He has just struggled, and instead of chugging through Alpha Phonics, which I absolutely love, it's another free phonics curriculum. I have lots of videos out there on it. I thought that we would start this book and just start from the beginning. Very basic, just lots of review and build some confidence while still systematically learning phonics. So this is very systematic, very lovely, very similar to Alpha Phonics, except for, I believe you could start this earlier. It has lots of the fun ear training, tongue training, fun games and stories and pictures in the beginning, before it just jumps into learning a lot of the words and sounds that you put together. So we're gonna do this maybe 2 or 3 times a week together, but it will only be 5 or 10 minutes that we'll sit and work on this. Like I said, I want it to be light, I want him to build confidence, and I still wanna have a fun summer. Okay, moving on, we're gonna try to move fast because I feel like it's getting really long and chatty. So we're gonna have some read alouds. I love to have a bedtime read aloud going all the time. As soon as we're done reading our current read aloud, which is The One and Only Ivan, we're gonna read these 2, hopefully. So this is My Side of the Mountain and Old Mother West Wind. We tried to read this book last year when we did the survival unit, and my kids just, it was summer and they did not want to sit still. I could not get their attention. But so far we're already kind of into summer, and they are really craving some read aloud time, some sit down time with mommy, because we did have that big elapsed time where I was feeling unwell in the beginning of my pregnancy. So I'm thinking we could do that. If they're still struggling with this, I'm gonna try the audiobook version. We could do it in the car on the way to the park or play dates or the library, what have you. And I think that they will really enjoy this book. This is right up my 8-year-old's alley if I could just get him to sit down for long enough. And then I really want to read this one, and I think my kids are gonna love it. I really think my 7-year-old will like this more than my 8-year-old, but we'll see. Okay, next up, I want to have some kind of morning basket. This will really just look like reading at breakfast and reading at lunchtime. I don't want to take away all the free time that my kids are gonna have to play in the pool or run around outside, work in the garden with us, have play dates, and all of that fun stuff. I want to just have a morning basket of things to pull from during lunchtime. So we'll see what all we do, what all we get through, but these are the options I have laid out for us. This is Connoisseur Kids. If you've been around here, you saw that I tried to do this in the past and we just didn't stick with it. We had a lot of other things going on and I let it fall to the wayside. I didn't do as much as I could have with it. So I thought this would be a fun thing to do in the summer. It's got fun little games and activities to kind of reinforce the points that it's talking about. And my kids enjoyed it when we did it, but I just let it drop. So we're gonna try this again this summer. Again, just breakfast or lunchtime reading. I picked up Just So Stories at an antique store when I was on a day date or whatever with my husband. I was really excited because I also have the Simple Studies Just So Stories, and I have never actually gone through the Simple Studies before, but I have several of them, and so I'm excited to try this out. This is a literature handbook for K through 6 students, and it's just a guide. So it's got some extra picture books that you can read, materials that you'll need, and really it's just reading the stories, some extra picture books that you can read. Some extra picture books that you can read, and then it has a coloring sheet for the younger students, or you can try to do some kind of drawing with older students. So I think it also has a dictation sentence and things like that. It's very simple, like it says, and so I thought this would be fun to throw in a morning basket. My kids love the stories like this. We've actually read 1 or 2 of these in the past, so I don't know if they'll remember it or not, but we're gonna throw this in there. I always want to have Bible going on, and I think we're going to stop where we are in the book Theology, and we're going to do some of these Kids of Integrity studies. These are free. Like I said, I will link this down below, but I have one on forgiveness and one on consideration. I love these because they are character studies, so it's focusing on being considerate, but it goes really in depth in reading through the Bible stories that it's talking about. It's got suggested prayers, suggested questions, lots of hands-on activities and games to make it really stick in your kids' minds. This is great for younger kids. I would say early elementary school, because it is so hands-on and it is so involved, but also in a simple way. You can pick and choose what you want to do out of this. I have done a few of these before and definitely not done all the activities, but it still really stuck with my kids. I can bring up those studies and they'll be like, oh yeah, I remember doing that, because it was just so involved. So hopefully we're gonna get through 2 of these. I believe each study is 2 weeks long. Lastly, we have this little year of prayers. I thought it would just be sweet to read 1 or 2 of these each day. So it's got some for the seasons, autumn and winter here. So they're little prayers like for your family. They've got these beautiful little pictures. Here's one that's just, thank you, God. So sometimes our kids can just get stuck in the, thank you for my family, thank you for everything, please help us have fun and be good, thank you for our food. Sometimes my kids will blow you away with the prayers that they have and the things that just come over them to pray about. But I just thought it would be fun to throw that in there and give them some samplings of other things that you could pray about, or ways to pray about them. It's always good for me too. And then lastly, the Children's Book of Virtues. I have the Book of Virtues, I think it's called. And it's just very big, and I haven't gone through and picked and chosen. How do you say that? Picked the ones that were more on my kids' level. So I found this one for free. You know me, love to find free things. And so we'll just pick this up sometimes and read it during lunch. Now, clearly we're not gonna read all of these things during lunchtime. We would be there for an hour and a half just reading through these. So maybe one day we'll read the Book of Virtues and a prayer. Maybe one day we'll do, a Bible study and a story. So it'll only be, 20 minutes of sitting down, eating lunch together and reading through stories and having fun conversations is my hope. We have been reading at lunchtime and my kids love it. We typically read at breakfast time as well. So there will be time to squeeze in some fun read alouds and conversations. Okay, lastly, like I said, nature study, not my forte. I want it to be, so this is what I have to do that. I bought Exploring Nature with Children last year and did not touch it, not even once. So my thought here is that I would just use this for some suggestions on picture books. So we'll just look at whatever week, grab some picture books from the library, and if my kids are loving it, then I will pull this back out and find an activity for us to do, or some poems or what have you. Maybe I can bring this outside. I can, you know, look at it while they're playing and try to point out those things in the backyard or on walks at the park, wherever we are. I don't want to just do all of the activities and read all the poems and everything. I just kind of want a few suggestions and things to focus on. I also have nature journals. I had already made these up. These are just little books from Walmart. I believe they're like $2, but they're really cute. And they just have some blank pages in them, and I made these little covers. So we'll have those. I found these on clearance. I found this in the clearance aisle at Walmart. And they may not be the best quality, but they came in this cute little travel kit. And so I grabbed us each one, including my 3-year-old. So I thought this would be fun to take out in the backyard or to the park and just do a nature journal, which we aren't very good at. I've also had this book for at least a year. It's One Small Square Backyard. This looks really simple. I really want to do this, and I think my kids would really enjoy this. They've really been paying attention more to what's in our backyard, the birds that are in our backyard, the different animals and things, and the different plants that are blooming. And so I think that they will thoroughly enjoy this. I plan on just, you know, breaking out the picnic blanket and hanging out outside and looking at the little square that we choose in our backyard. And then lastly, I have just these 2 books to go with our nature study. That is Up in the Garden and Down in the Dirt, and Slow Down, 50 Mindful Moments in Nature. I grabbed this for my preschooler, and it is just beautiful. So I'd like to, oh, of course I opened to the snake page. I hate snakes, they give me nightmares. So the pictures are just beautiful and simple. Like, we would just do one spread, and maybe we would look for that in the next day or so. And again, maybe just pull this out while we're outside, sitting outside, hanging out. No super specific plans there. Okay, so this video turned out longer than I thought. I hope you guys stuck with me if you were interested in seeing everything that we're gonna do. Like I said, this looks like a lot of resources, but really the plan is to read a little at breakfast, play, garden, do play dates, play in the pool, go on walks. I am not good at going on walks with my kids, but they love it, so I want to be that for them, and seeing friends. And then reading at lunchtime, having a quiet time where they do a few fun activities on their checklist. And I'm also thinking that I might add a reward for finishing their checklist, so that way it's not a do this or you're in trouble, or this is a super requirement, but these are fun opportunities for you to learn, and there'll be a treat at the end. I'm not big on rewards for chores and things like that, so that will definitely be a big treat for them if I decide to go that route. And it'll probably be something along the lines of a popsicle or like a sparkling water, or something of that nature. Maybe some like lemonade in the afternoon kind of thing. We don't do a lot of sugar. So that is my idea. That's really all that we're doing, and I will leave a link for the blog post where you can get these printables for free and check out any links. Let me know if you guys take a long summer, a short summer, if you still do any work during the summer. I'd love to hear it. I think we might have done something different every year, or I plan something and it goes completely different. So I'd love to hear what you guys do or what your ideas are for this year. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this, go ahead and subscribe so you can see how this all plays out, and my upcoming videos for our homeschool curriculum next year. Bye, guys.